Hey y'all, it's Tammy with Collard Valley Cooks, and tonight we are making Paw Paw's. He was Chris's Paw Paw Nichols chip beef and gravy. He was a World War II veteran and was a cook in the Army. So Chris can remember this as a kid, and I'm going to chop up some beef, and then he's going to tell you about Paw Paw and show you his picture. So the first thing you do is you buy some chipped beef, and it's very salty. So I won't be putting salt in the gravy. I do have some beef broth. So what we're going to use is chipped beef, flour. I will sift it in. We're going to use a little bit of evaporated milk, some beef broth, and butter, salt, pepper. That's it. So I'm going to chop this up really small because I want it to get in the beef gravy, you know, all in it, not just big humps. Now, I have seen people make it where there's big pieces, but I think it would be really flavorful if I chop it really, really thin. Now you're going to make toast, and I've got some potatoes over here made because his Paw Paw served it over toast and creamed potatoes. Some people say mashed potatoes. I call them creamed because Mama did. I think Chris and them called them mashed. Which way did y'all call them, Chris?
Mashed.
Mashed.
No, we called them creamed.
You
Creamed
did?
potatoes, yeah.
Okay, so I've got it real skinny. You can see how pretty it looks. So we are going to scoot that over. And it's real salty. Now some people rinse it. So if you have to watch your salt, of course this is not something you need to eat, but you can rinse it out a little bit if you want to. But I'm not going to add salt to the gravy, so I'm not going to rinse it. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and slice the bread. And we're just going to toast this in the air fryer. Back in the World War II, of course they couldn't use something like this. This is just French bread. But I'm doing it because I know it would be quick and it'd be great for the video. You won't have to wait. This is so nice and soft and fresh. My air fryer has had pizza in it. So I'm going to put this around the edges. That's what happens when you got teenagers. Now I'm not going to turn that on just yet. We're going to come over here and we are going to turn on this eye, and I'm having to light it right now. This is my electricity's off.
No, your electricity's not.
My electricity in the house is not off, but I've got the breaker.
Yeah, the stove's not
The
working.
stove is still not working. The oven part.
Yeah.
So we're going to start this. Some butter in my skillet. A whole half cup. Half cup of butter.
And I'll show y'all while that's melting. That's his picture. And he was in the 82nd Airborne. And he went over about maybe 3 or 4 days after D-Day. They went in on gliders. And the truck where all the cooks were got blown up. And they took him and made him a cook. And he had never cooked in his life, and he got put in the kitchen. And this is a copy. This is like the 1910, and we're using this. This is probably the same thing they used for World War II. You can see the amounts there: 7 pounds of chipped dried beef. And then, of course, the Navy had their version of it. This is a Navy creamed sliced dried beef. And of course, you know, they all didn't call it creamed beef. They called it, we'll just say shoot on a shingle. How about that?
Shoot on a
Shoot
shingle.
on a shingle. That's
Okay.
not what Paw Paw called it, but we'll go with that.
I've got 2.5 cups of beef broth in here. Let's stop. Yeah, it's broth. And I'm just going to put in about a half cup of evaporated milk because their ratio is not a high ratio.
Yeah, they used, what, 4 gallons of beef stock. Of course, this is to feed like 60 men or something like that. And of course, they use dried beef because they could store that and ship that.
All right, so we're going to add this evaporated milk up to the, for some reason I don't see my, oh, there they are, up to the 3 cup mark. So it's 2.5 cups of broth and a half cup of evaporated milk, because that's what's on the recipe.
Yeah.
We're going to set this over here to make our gravy. We got salt, pepper over there. I shouldn't need the salt. We're going to be using a half a cup of butter and a half a cup of flour.
Yeah.
Now my flour I sift every time I make gravy because I use my sifter all the time. I am the woman that uses a sifter. It doesn't stay in the cabinet and never get used. Somebody asked me this week, do you wash your sifter? I said, well, Lord, no, maybe every 5 years.
And Merry Christmas Claus gave us $20. Thank you,
Well,
Merry.
thank you.
I like to say
in
that.
So long.
I like to say that, Merry Christmas Claus.
Yes. Thank you, Merry Christmas. I was just thinking about you the other day, actually. All right, so here's our half cup of butter. I'm gonna go ahead and turn these back on and let them get a little bit hot. I think I am.
The potato.
I gotta light it.
Oh. There you go.
And we're about to cream these potatoes while we're waiting on the gravy. So we're gonna put in our flour.
And of course, during the war, there's no telling what all they probably ended up having to use. Half the time, these recipes probably weren't. I don't know. They probably were pretty good about following them exactly because they weren't really cooks, a lot of them.
You're going to want your flour to brown. I'm going to add pepper, but I'm not going to add salt. That was salted butter, and we got tons of salt in the chipped beef. You want to put plenty of pepper in it as well. I am going to swap sides with Chris just for a second. I'm going to turn that down just a hair. And I'm going to start mashing these up real quick. I'm going to put in some canned milk, some butter. Oh, I know what we were supposed to do. Put a little parsley in it. They call for parsley, didn't
Yeah,
they, Chris?
that's kind of funny, ain't it? They had
Yeah.
parsley. They would put parsley in it.
I bet they didn't have
I bet they
fresh
didn't put parsley in it during the war.
This is freeze-dried, so I'm going to put this in there.
We'll put it in there anyway,
Yeah,
since
it's
it was
pretty.
in the original recipe.
It's pretty.
I think they put it in at the end.
I just bought this. If y'all never bought Lighthouse freeze-dried, I like their parsley, their guac seasoning, their spring mix, their salad blend. There's several things that I like that they have. I'm going to turn this off. We're going to mash these potatoes.
Yeah, but you could imagine being from.
Okay, let's swap. I'm going to put a little pepper in these potatoes. And just a hint more. They're mashed good. I'm just going to put a hint more, what do you call it? Cream.
Cream. Yeah, you could imagine not ever having cooked before, and then next thing you know, you're cooking for no telling how many people at a time.
While I'm talking to them, some of them have been wanting this pot because of my granny green beans, and it is sold out. The one that I referenced is sold out right now on Amazon. But now I referenced 2 different ones, and I don't really know which one is sold out because my sister told me. So if y'all are looking for a pot like that, give it a few days, and I'll have to get something else on there compatible. But it needs to be, something that I think is going to work. I'm going to go ahead and throw this beef in there. I'm using a gravy whisk. They work amazing. I had never had one in my life until I started this show. There's a lot of things since I've started this show that I've learned. So my fans have, well, I shouldn't say fans, my viewers have sent me a lot of different stuff. And boy, have I fell in love with some of it, and this gravy whisk is one of the things. I'm going to let that get just a little bit more brown because I want that flour. I don't want it to taste like flour. I want it to be cooked. Okay, flour is raw. A lot of people don't realize that, and it really needs to cook. So you want to brown it. Now, this is really close. So I'm going to step over here and turn this on.
So we got the
We're
bread
about to
going.
have it. Here we go. Liquid going in. And I will taste it and add salt if I need to, but that chip beef is real
You
salty.
ain't gonna need to add no salt.
Now, when you make gravy, you can leave it in the skillet, but I don't. I just pour it right back in my poured thing. I love these 4-cup measuring cups. You can get them for like $5 at Walmart, or you can, of course, you can get anything you see here on our Amazon store. You just click the link in the description post. But I love this thing. They're really nice to have for pancake batter, for, you know, different things that you're not making a lot of batter for. But now, of course, use your batter bowl if you've got a lot of mix. And a lot of people ask me what size my batter bowl is, and I can tell y'all that while we're sitting here waiting on this gravy. My batter bowl is 2 quarts. 2 quarts. So, I'm going to turn it back up to high, and I'm going to taste these and see if I got these salty enough. See how fast that was? Ooh, we're fast. No wonder this was a Paw Paw meal. Y'all know what I did? I called Chris's mama, and I said, Virginia, what did Paw Paw, his name was Stanley, serve when he had SOS? She said, what? I said, SOS. She said, oh yeah. She said, I just loved it because it was something different. It wasn't something I was used to eating. She said he would take toast, put mashed potatoes on top of the toast, because they call them mashed potatoes, not cream potatoes like me.
No, we call them cream potatoes.
Oh, you did? Well, maybe she said cream potatoes.
Yeah.
She said, and top it with the gravy. And I said, okay.
She probably didn't know what you was talking about because you said SOS. Because he sure didn't never call it that.
He didn't? Your Paw Paw never called it that.
Yes, not SOS. He called it the real thing. Shoot on the shingle.
Oh, he called it
He
the real
didn't.
word.
Yeah, he didn't like.
Chris don't ever say bad words, y'all. We try
But
not
he,
to. Okay, looky here. It's thickening. Getting thick. Well, this is going to be good.
and of course everybody in the United States who had relatives in the army got this meal. I mean, this is like the meal that won World War II, right here. Not the meal, but that's
what they lived on.
Yeah, that's what they lived in. All the branches of the service, all the men. Of course, it's salty, so everybody
Men
likes
love salt.
Yeah,
They love bacon and cured meats with salt.
yeah.
Matter of fact, I got some pickles over there in the floor, and they're so salty, y'all. I'm making sweet pickles out of them, but I'm keeping them in there longer. They're supposed to be in there a week. I'm keeping them in there 2 weeks.
It says the Bible calls it dung, so we can call it dung on the shingle.
Oh yeah, that's true. Okay, look. I'm gonna show y'all my pickles while we're waiting on the bread. There it goes.
And what's so funny, you would think if they gave it that nickname, that makes it sound like it wasn't any good, but it seems like all of them made it when they came back home.
They liked it enough to have it again.
They must have liked it pretty good.
All right, let's check our bread. Oh, it's ready. All right, I want them to see my pickles real quick because you haven't tasted these, have you, Chris?
No.
Okay. Uh-oh. Ooh, they're heavy. These are my pickles I'm making. And Granny always made sweet pickles, and she would let them soak in a week. And I just want him to. These taste just like dill pickles. That's what they taste like, and all they are is cucumbers and salt. And the reason I'm showing you this is because men love salt. And I'm going to put some of these pickles up with just a little bit of dill, just like they are in all this salt. Looks so good. Okay. Here we go. This will be yours, Chris. It'll be big. Right? Bread. Potatoes.
I'm not eating it with potatoes on it.
Oh, you're not?
No, I'm gonna eat it.
Oh, well, then I'll make mine
I like to eat it.
Okay. Well, then I'll make me one.
Yeah, make you one with potatoes on it.
Oh, let me get me a gonna use a little dipper doodle. Yummy. That look good?
It's good.
All right, let's do Chris's over here. He don't want potatoes. You know what I didn't do? I didn't taste it to make sure it's salty enough.
Well, I can guarantee you it's salty enough.
You reckon?
Yes.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it's salty. Plenty salty. I shouldn't have salted the taters. It's real good, y'all. Real good. And we're doing it just like the Army's recipe with the evaporated milk and the beef stock. So it's not just white gravy. It is a recipe.
See, and these are all things that they could store. You know,
Right.
like they couldn't carry ground beef. They didn't have refrigerators and all that kind of stuff. So,
All right, let me taste this.
taste it.
This is the first time in my life that I have had chipped beef and gravy. Okay? I want the potatoes on it because that's how your mama said he served it. Well, I can tell you right now that gravy's perfect. Perfect consistency, the perfect amounts of everything in it. It is going to be good. It's hot. That is really good. Good Lord, no wonder they come home and made this, y'all. Now, dried beef ain't cheap. But it goes a long way. It's got plenty of flavor. I wouldn't change a thing in this recipe. I really wouldn't. I wouldn't add any salt. I would just put the pepper in it and make it just like I write down the recipe for just, you know, you and your crowd. The French bread is really good because it's nice and soft and kind of chewy and toasty on the outside. Oh my gosh, that's good. My kids are gonna like that.
Let's
Do
see.
you want to taste it for them, Chris?
Yeah, I'll taste it. See, the Navy didn't put. All they put in it was pepper. They didn't put any. They didn't use the broth.
They didn't use the stock.
Yeah. They just used milk. Of course, if they were on a ship, they could carry stuff. All right,
Oh,
let me
they
taste it.
didn't have. They didn't stock or parsley.
Yeah.
But
Of course,
the,
during the war, I'm sure things
but
changed.
in the Army, I
Yeah.
mean, this one is the one we made.
Yeah, we made the old army one.
The old Army one, which is, what's the difference in the?
That recipe
Time.
right there is from 1910,
This one's from 1910, the one we made, and this one is from when?
World War II.
World War II. No, this one.
Yes.
Okay. Does it taste like you remember?
That's delicious.
It is delicious, ain't it?
I love it.
Well, y'all, we got a new supper at the Nichols house. Thanks to Paw Paw Nichols, it's Paw Paw. Thanks to Paw Paw Nichols and his service, we have a delicious recipe.
Yep.
Thanks for watching Colored Valley Cooks, where we cook like Paw Paw did. Bye, y'all. Love ya.
Bye.